ice hockey fans on Eurosport to the game that will decide the European Cup. CSKA Moscow taking on Koln, and look at that lineup. Kucherov, a brilliant defenseman, Makarov, Larionov, and of course Krutov forming that number one line, but you can't leave out guys like Kazantanov, Kamensky, Mogilny. Really, they're all national players. We look at the West German side from Cologne. Brilliant goaltending so far from Joseph Heiss. Steiger, a good forechecker and backchecker. Schmidt has scored some goals, but can they cope with the formidable Russian attack? If CSKA beats Cologne, they win the tournament because they beat the Czechs earlier on. If Cologne wins today, then Kosice from Czechoslovakia win because they beat Cologne earlier on. Well, let's see what happens. This is going to be one heck of a game. This is a capacity crowd here in Cologne, and I'm sure that at least 99.9% of them will be cheering for the home side.
Paul, this is going to be a test of the Russian experience versus the height and the composure of the German side. The Germans have had some convincing, tight checking games, but they've got to hold their composure, and it will definitely be put to the test in this match versus all of that Russian experience.
Well, take a look at this crowd as the teams get set for the opening face-off. That is electric. They're singing, dancing, and the opening face-off has just started, and you can see the cheer as the puck goes down into the Soviet end. They'll be playing from right to left in their white jerseys. Cologne in the dark red. What can they do against the might, the force of the Soviet Union, the best club side in the world? They've won this tournament 17 times, looking for number 18. And, well, can they do it? The Germans, of course, will be cheered on by this capacity crowd here in the ice hall in Cologne. Trunchke in there. Now, the Soviets, so confident. Larionov dropping it back. Oh, drop pass, not a good one there as they work their way out, and over for it goes Kucherov. Kucherov head manning to Makarov. Makarov trying to get across the blue line, runs into number 14, Pokanoi. And now I have a feeling that every time the Cologne team gets near the Soviet net, you're going to hear a roar from the crowd.
You can see that the Russians are trying to spread it out, use the ice surface to their advantage, and get the Germans caught out of position. And that's what they're going to work on.
Sikora forechecking there for the West German side as they start to throw their bodies around earlier in this game. Hafenegger belts that one around and back for it goes the Soviet side. The official follows, and icing is the call. For those of you who are watching for the first time, the icing rule is called when one team shoots the puck all the way down the ice from their side of the red line. They cannot do that unless they are a man short through penalty. The whole idea of that, of course, is to stop teams from delaying the game. And some people feel they should introduce that into the game of soccer, or football as they call it in some countries. Now, the Soviets on the attack. 23 coming up with it. Dieter Hagen. Hagen across the front of his net. Hafenegger working his way out. A nice move. Head manning the puck. Breaking in on the goalie. And that is shot just wide of the post. A good opportunity there in the early stages of this first period for Cologne. Coming back. The shot stopped at the defense. Number 24, Robert Sturflinger, getting in front of that as Humatov had a chance on the goal. Still no score here in the first period. This is the big one. This is the final game in the tournament, and CSKA desperately need this. Cologne, for obvious reasons, would like to win it too, and they'll be trying their hardest. Sikora, a rink-wide pass goes nowhere at all. Stelnov, such an influential defenseman. Fedorov, Bikov. Homatov now. Homatov working in nicely. Still it's Homatov. He's got a man out front. Oh, he just couldn't pick it up. And number 3, Hafenegger, comes up with it and dumps it down the ice. Back come the Soviets. Oh, and the shot all the way the blue line. A bit of bobbling there by number 31, Alexei Ivashcheshkin, as he came up with a save on that long shot.
Well, it was a situation of the defenseman taking the puck behind the net and doing something you do not typically see the Russian defenseman do by trying to make a long pass out near the blue line, and they almost got caught doing that as the German player cut it off.
Fedorov in the face-off, losing out as it goes all the way down into the neutral zone. Koln going back for it. Now, what can they do? They've got the support of the crowd. A long shot by number 4, Udo Kiesling, who's played a fantastic job in defense for Cologne in the 2 games prior to this one. And they'll need all his experience to put them on the score sheet and keep them there in this contest. Trunchka, number 17. Oh, a bad pass by him. Komatov working his way around. Look at all the Soviets in front of the net. No one there to pick up the pass. And the Cologne side maybe just a bit too keen to get that one away. Dump it down the ice, and icing is the call once again.
Both teams looking a bit sloppy, Paul. It was a very risky pass by the German defense. But the Russians didn't capitalize as they had no one on the point, and they were caught a bit out of position as well.
The familiar face there of Viktor Tikhonov, the stone face of the coach. There's the play. Komatov works it around, and watch this, gets it out front. Nobody there at all. Davidov. A long shot, wide. Sikora still with the puck as he works it out over the blue line. Sikora running into a sea of white shirts as he doubles back. A nice pass, but the West Germans have found themselves offside. Now they have to regroup and start over again. Dieter Hagen takes his man in. Sikora is in there and they lose out. Malkin, a rink-wide pass. They've got 2 men and a good defensive move as number 11, Davidov, was cruising in front of the net. Sturflinger came up with a key defensive move there.
That's right, as the play broke down, the Russians came out quickly. That was a 2-on-1 situation. Sturflinger waited till the last possible second. He dove down and got a piece of that puck. That might have saved the goal, Paul.
Well, Davidov was cruising on the far corner, and that would have been so easy for him. And now the big line, Larionov, Krutov, Makarov, going up against Thomas Groger, Udo Schmidt. Steiger is out there. Nicholas, Kyler. Some excellent players out there for both teams, but can they match the might of the Soviet Union? Oh, a good save there. Kicked away. Point-blank shot from CSKA. That one bobbles high. They can't see it. Now it's down amongst the skates against the boards, and they're pushing, shoving. Andreas Kyler out there. Krutov stopping nicely. Krutov stick handling, kicking it with his skates. Such an experienced performer. He's been around since the late 70s. He knows what to do in this type of competition. Krutov now out there with Larionov. Watch Makarov. He's going to cruise right in the slot area, but he's not there to pick it up. Number 9, Nicholas. Nicholas breaking down on his right wing. He's shadowed by Makarov. Number 24 goes in, gets a touch. Well, Nicholas still comes up with the puck as he turns nicely and goes into the corner. Still, it's Cologne with the pressure on. Now, Larionov breaking. He gets the puck. He's got a breakaway. What can he do? He drops it back. Oh, there's no one there. Thornbury, number 3, comes to the rescue. This is incredible stuff. Now, back comes Trunchka. Trunchka takes the shot, and the goaltender kicks it out. Good end-to-end hockey. Both teams still in it here in the first period. Makarov circles nicely at the top of the circle. Makarov looking for someone to pass to. Trunchka, the race is on. Larionov tips that back in. Still the Soviets with the pressure on. Kamensky, just incredible stuff as that trickles in front of the nets. And the Soviets go back to the neutral zone to regroup. Rich, an incredible first period.
This is great wide open action, Paul. You're seeing both teams going up and down the ice very hard. The Germans are showing they can skate that style as well, as the goalie there was forced to come out and make the save on another Russian attack.
Kamensky racing in there on this loose puck. The goaltender getting to it first, but watch this, the head down, the stick down, the skate goes right into the face, but he says, I got it, thank you.
That's right, the goalie feeling a part of the race as well, as he came out and took Kamensky out very nicely and covered the puck. Take the face off.
Tikhonov has been through all this before. Over 10 years now with the national side, and he's led CSKA to so many wins in his career, but I'm sure he's not too bothered. You wouldn't know if he was. Really, no expression at all on that face, but what a coach.
As you see another stoppage in play, the Germans playing very tough in front of their own net, keeping the Russians away from their goalie. I'm very impressed at this point, Paul, with the way that the Germans are back-checking as well. The Russians get out of their zone, but the Germans are coming back strong, really defending their own zone.
Coach Hardy Nilsson barking out the instructions as Stelnov is taken out of the play, and this is going to be a penalty. Kiesling is down on the ice. The cheer comes up from the crowd. Number 13, Valery Kamensky, goes into the box.
I think he felt that was complimentary, and he couldn't believe the ref's call as he's shaking his head in the box right now. He just sort of left the stick there on top of the German captain, as if to say, I didn't really mean it, and it wasn't that critical.
A golden opportunity here for Koln EC, that's Ice Hockey Club, to put on the power play. Ice hockey, of course, in German. What can they do with this power play situation? Komatov dumping it in. Davidov goes in, but he's beaten to it. Thornbury comes up with the puck. Still, Thornbury carving his man up along the boards as the Cologne side dump it all the way down, and that's not the kind of thing they want to do with the man advantage. It'll be interesting to see whether they can get some kind of attack going. Here they come over the blue line. A weak shot that goes behind the net. Thornbury dumps it back in, and now the pressure is on CSKA's net. The far side, what can they do? A shot from Sikora as he slams the ice. He knew he fanned on that one. Could have done better. A loose puck. Sikora trying to get to this one. He does. What's he going to do? It's right out front. There are two men there, and the puck just trickles by. Number 25, Ernst Kopp. Still no score in this game. The Soviets with a man in the box, and the pressure is on now. Listen to that crowd getting behind the home team. Sikora drops it back. The slap shot goes wide of the net, trickles out front. The backhand shot goes over the top of the net, and the goaltender gloves it down. Incredible stuff.
That's right, Paul. They finally got the play set up, and they had control of the puck, as you see here. Play goes back to the point. Thornbury with a big shot from the point. Wide, though. The puck's bouncing around in front. There are two German attackers there. The goalie did not lose sight of the puck, and as it bounced up, he's got a glove on it.
You really couldn't ask for a better final. The home team playing against CSKA Moscow. What more could you ask for? The fans here, a capacity crowd, are loving it. Now, Germany with a man in the box. That's a golden opportunity for number 15, Klumatov. Backhand shot wide. The goalie way out of his net. Josef Heiss, as they start to mix it up, the sticks go up, the fists go in.
This is an element of the Russian hockey that's new over the last few years, Paul. They've had a lot of games with Canada, the Americans, the Finns, whatever. You're now starting to see a new breed of Russians who will push and fight back rather than skate away from everything.
Well, I've spoken to a lot of Canadians who are playing over here as we look at this on the replay, who are playing in Europe, and they can confirm that the Russians are as tough as any Canadian. They can give as good as they take. Still no score here as players are being thumped to the ice. You can see the gesture to the referee. Come on, give me a break. That was a penalty, but no sign from the official. Back on the attack now. Trunchka taken out, outnumbered in the corner. Davidov. Back come the Soviet side. Khomatov working his way in nicely. Followed by Makarov. Back on the point is Stelnov. Stelnov, so cool back there. Has got a wicked shot from that blue line position. Kazatanov calling for it. Makarov cruising. Stelnov is in there. Number 6, way back at the blue line. Stelnov still with it. It's real cat and mouse stuff. Now the fake shot. That shot, that's in the net. Valery Kamensky took that shot from Stelnov. He was positioned right on the post and put it by the goaltender. That's goal number 1.
That's right, as you see it here, Paul, Stelnov has the puck back at the point. He holds on to it, puts a move, lets the German attacker slide, then takes the shot right in front of the net. The forward is there. Kamensky, his stick is right on the ice, and he's got it for a tip-in.
Well, an excellent power play goal puts the Soviet side, CSKA Moscow, in the lead, and certainly has quietened the crowd here. Huge ears, a long shot on the goal. As we come up to the final couple of seconds here, there goes the buzzer to end the first period. An exciting seesaw battle. CSKA 1, Koln 0. As we go into the dressing rooms, we'll be right back after this break. Second period here between Koln and CSKA. European Ice Hockey Cup final in Koln. The home team playing from right to left in the red jerseys. They're trailing by 1 goal. But Rich, they're not out of it yet, are they?
Not by any means, Paul. The difference in that period was their back-checking. The Germans kept back-checking and back-checking. And you most definitely do not usually see a Russian team dumping the puck in. They like to control it in, but they were forced to dump it in many times, coming just over the center line and dumping it in. I think the Germans are going to have to keep this up. They've got Trunchka, Sturflinger, Sikora logging a lot of ice time. I hope it won't take its toll because they're doing a nice job right now.
Well, you do have to play all your players against the Soviets. They go with 3 full lines and some, and they change every 30 to 45 seconds. Trunchka dumping it out, but not far enough. Kucherov calling for it on the far wing. The German side with a man in the penalty box. Oh, and that cruises right across the opening in front of the net as Kucherov dumps it into Makarov. Makarov back to Kucherov. They've got so much time when they have a man advantage. You see outside number 13, Valery Kamensky, and they put Makarov up with him. He usually plays with Larionov and Krutov, but they're mixing up these lines slightly. Now, the break is on. Intercepted nicely at the defense, and back from the Soviet side.
Germans are doing a nice job killing this penalty off. They're staying away from each other. They're setting up a box. They are spreading out, and when they get control of the puck, they're hanging on to it. The Russians are running around chasing them at this point.
This game is far from over. This tournament is far from over. An incredible finish. The European Cup played here in Cologne has attracted capacity crowds here in Cologne, and they are loving every minute of it. Right now, their team is in the final game. They're enjoying it. Their team is down by 1 goal, and they've got 1 less man on the ice. Well, now they've leveled it up. Back at full strength, what can they do? A lazy shot, picked off, head manning the puck. Back comes Koln, a long shot, steered nicely by Ivashkin. Out front, number 15, Andrei Khomatov. Just a bit too far for Larionov. Sturflinger in there, mixing it up. No pattern to this play so far. Intercepted nicely there in the neutral zone. Oh, brought down, and there's the arm of the official right at the bottom of the screen, signaling a penalty as number 23, Dieter Hagen, was dropped to the ice.
That's right, Paul. Hagen had control of the puck. He put a nice move on that almost looked like frustration on the part of Malakov, which is very unlike the Russian style of play.
Vladimir Malakov will be in the box for 2 minutes. The chance now for Cologne to level the score, and look at the crowd getting behind their team.
That's right, they realize this is an all-important power play. You've got that man advantage against the Russians. You want to take full advantage of it. They'd like to get the equalizing goal at this point.
Can they do it? That is the question. Hagen comes up with the draw. Caught. Sturflinger dumping it in. Here in the second period, 1-0, CSKA Moscow in the lead. Sturflinger going to pick this one up. Top now. Well, they're going to have to do better than this. The Soviets coming forward, doing some nice checking now. 2-on-2 break. A good poke check there by number 6, Kazatanov, as they work it in. Still, it's Koln. They've got it out front. Sturflinger scores! Robert Sturflinger picked that puck up in the slot, and fantastic scenes as the West Germans celebrate. They're going crazy there. Look at this, incredible stuff.
That's right, the crowd's going wild, Paul, as they see on the replay. Hagen dumped the puck in. Kiesling really working hard, taken out of the play, but there's 2 Russians behind the net there. Germans rush in and get control. It's a nice pass into the slot. There's nobody covering Sturflinger. He makes absolutely no mistake on that shot. He picked the top corners. The goalie was down on his knees.
So Sturflinger gets congratulated by the bench staff in Cologne. They're all kissing each other, but it's far from over. We look at this again. Sturflinger takes a slap shot and puts that upstairs.
Kiesling really made that play happen by hauling 2 Russian players behind the net with him as he was taken down, and the German players were quick on the puck. Made that play happen.
Well, you couldn't have scripted a better final. This is incredible stuff. Coming back now, the West Germans. Trunchka head-manning the puck as Davidov gets in there to break it up. Kusarov says, give it to me. I want to slow things down. I want to get things organized. A pass right up to no one in the center in the neutral zone, and back comes Trunchka as he's checked right at the blue line. Some close checking out there on the part of both teams. A 2-on-1 break. Davidov gets it in front, and a good save by Heiss from point-blank range. The crowd reacting accordingly as they appreciate the effort their boys are making.
The Russians looking a bit unsettled at this time as they're dumping the puck. There's a 2-line offside pass.
The crowd, as you said, really loving this, and I think this is having an unsettling effect, as you also said, on the Soviet side. It really is all for the Cologne team, isn't it?
That's right, but at this point, it's very, very important that the Cologne side does not lay their guard down. They must keep attacking and skating the way that they have been the last few minutes.
Going back for it, Andreas Keiler. Now, Cologne on the attack, a long shot, going in for the rebound, right on the goal, another one, and of course, my Lord, 3 shots there, and a brilliant recovery by the goalie.
The nice example of the Germans knowing how to use their home arena boards.
Ivashkin coming up with 3 saves. The first one I was about to say was a bit optimistic. It was a long one. The second one came in. And again, look at this, the 3rd shot. Number 26, Udo Schmidt. And eventually the goalie had to come up with a save. Listen to that noise. So it's all happening. Again, another shot right on. Well, that wasn't a particularly good save. The rebound came out. Could have been dangerous. And now the Cologne players are starting to take the bodies. They're tired of CSKA going around them. So they're forgetting about the puck and they're going right for the body. Larionov with Makarov out there as Makarov is hooked in front of the net. Look at them roughing it up in front of the net. That's going to be a penalty. They're starting to mix it up. They're starting to get physical.
Well, there, the puck's in the corner, Paul, and it's thrown right out in front. At this point, the German defenseman is not even watching the puck. He's concerned about the forward in front of him. Questionable call, but he had to make the decision. The German defender was in a situation where he didn't have the puck, and he was just looking at his man.
Makarov getting the high stick right in the face of the German player. But he has a tendency to do that. I've seen him play for years. He loves to get in front of that net. And he loves to rough it up. Tikhonov looking as he always does, unflustered. That comes right out front. A good move by Heiss as he deflects it, and that goes out into the neutral zone. Davidoff being held as he spun around. A dummy, but no one there to pick it up. Sikora couldn't get that pass. Picked up nicely, goes back to the blue line and just a bit too far as number 6, Kazetanov, dumps it back. Zubov head manning it nicely. And you can see they are going for the body, aren't they? Thornbury there, didn't care about the puck. Now, 2-on-1 break. That's in front. And that's in the net. Larionov, it looked like the goalie came up with a save. There wasn't any reaction from the crowd at all. And Igor Larionov makes it 2-1.
Right, the play initially broke down in the center ice area when Thornbury had stepped up and played the body. But the forward for the German side had not come back, and it left the other defenseman with a 2-on-1 situation. As you can see in this play, Hagen is trying to get back. He's too late. The puck's in the net. The Russians are back out in front, 2-1.
Well, just no reaction at all from the crowd there, and it did look like the goalie hung on to that for a second, but Larionov comes up with that goal. Kamensky got the first one, Larionov gets the second one, and there's the scoreline here in the second period. Pumatov dumping it in. Kucherov gets a shot, and that's wide. And now, Koln, looking from inspiration from somewhere, really needs to get back into this one. Hardy Nilsson barking out the instructions to his team. What can they do?
This is where the Germans want to be particularly careful. The Russians have gotten that goal back. The Germans want to put it behind them and keep forcing the play, or else the Russians will keep capitalizing. Russians are dumping the puck in and going hard after it.
Moitinger running into a player right in front of the net. The spin, well, you can see that was on the cards, and Kazetanov was equal to it. Right in front of the net, a shot. The goaltender came up with a keypad save. Now back on the attack, CSKA. In front, deflected, they score! Sergei Fedorov got the deflection right in front of the net. Kostikin got the pass across, and again, silence from the crowd.
That's right, that was a Russian textbook play, Paul. 27 with the puck, leads ahead for the forward. All he does is just get a stick on it, deflects it up high into the top corner of the net. That was a very pretty goal.
So Sergei Fedorov here, getting the final touch, puts it in the top corner, makes it 3-1. And he silences that crowd. Incredible. Yelling 1 minute, and deathly silence the next.
He certainly did silence him by just keeping that stick on the ice, deflecting the puck in.
Davidoff now back into the action. Oh, and he shot that one wide. A good opportunity. Heiss was down, and Davidoff blew it. Back into the action now. Come the West Germans. Koln take a shot. Steered away by the goaltender. Again, back to the point. They couldn't pick up the rebound. Ivashkin knocking that down. Davidoff now with 1 minute remaining in this period. Nicholas firing all the way around, but not out. Some sloppy play now by the team from Cologne, the home side. They're passing it. No one on the end of the passes. 3-1 the score here in the second period. As the pace slows down a little, they come into the final seconds. Can they get one more shot away? Working it around nicely, goes off a skate into the corner. Still in there, the Soviets playing with it, trying to kill off the final seconds here. Back to the point, there goes the whistle to end the second period. And there's the score, 3-1 for CSKA, but don't go away, this is still anyone's game. Back to the third and final period of this game between CSKA Moscow and Cologne. And what a contest it's turning out to be. The crowd here are loving it. But really, Rich, what do they have to do? That is Cologne, of course, to get back into this game.
Well, Paul, nearing the end of the second period, the Germans are looking very tired. I'm hoping that they've gotten their second wind. They've said, look, we can get these 2 goals back. Let's play smart hockey. Let's not get caught early in the period. Let's keep the pressure on them. Go in and get it.
Let's take a look at CSKA Moscow as they move about on the ice. They have such a formidable side, brilliant defending with Kucherov and Kazatanov, Malakoff out there, and of course up front you have guys like Kamensky, Bykov, Krutov, Larionov. What do you do when you face these guys?
Well, it certainly isn't easy. There's so much experience, and it's the depth factor here. The Germans are just up against such a battle, with the Russians having 3 or 4 lines that they can throw out at any point in the game and totally dominate upon will. I mean, the Germans have got the hype, they have the crowd, their adrenaline is definitely pumping, but it does come down to a true test of quality, and the Russians are quality.
As you said, they can throw anyone out at any time, and they do just that. Most teams have a power play situation where their 5 best players go out and play on the power play. But the Soviet side, they say, hey, if the third line is out there, let's let them finish their shift. And that is a sign that you have good players and a sign that the coach has confidence in those players.
That's right, Paul, and it's just a question of the Russians very seldom ever get flustered. They're always in control.
So here we go. It's all down to what the Cologne team playing from left to right in the red jerseys can do. Can the supporters help them pick up their game? That's right out front. Oh, another shot from close in, and where were all the defenders? Again, the shot buzzing around Heiss as he kicks them away, and back come the Germans. Trunchka head manning the puck, getting it through to number 27, Steiger. 3-1 the score, as I said, here in the third and final period. Kucherov head manning the puck. Larionov now. Larionov on a breakaway. That's in the net. Oh, Larionov made it look so easy as he picks up his second goal. And that came with just 44 seconds gone here in the third period.
That's right, Paul. As the play develops here, Russian defender just throws the puck out. The Russian forward is on the move. As the puck is coming to him, he is skating. The German defenders are flat-footed. He's got a breakaway from the blue line in. He just picks his corner, and that's all that it took.
Larionov picking up that breakaway goal, making it 4-1 for CSKA. Davidoff now going in, getting it across. Kamensky taking the shot. A good save by Heiss, and it really is all one-way traffic. Sikora now. Sikora lets go a shot. It hits a defense, and back comes CSKA on the attack. It's a 1-on-3, but that won't be for long. Davidoff cruising in the top of the circle there. It's very rare that you see one Soviet player going down. They really do go down in bunches. The puck in front of the West German net, cleared away, and back comes Koln. Sikora working his way into the corner, losing out as he takes his man into the boards and spins him around. Mogilny now. Mogilny on his own. Mogilny scores! Oh, number 14, Mogilny, made it look so easy on that solo effort.
He sure did, Paul, and that's a question of, you very seldom see Kiesling looking down at the puck. Kiesling's a very experienced player for the Germans. He got caught there, going the wrong way. He took his eye just off Mogilny just for a second. That's all it took. Mogilny had the puck through his legs, and he was in there.
Smiles all around on the Soviet bench. Not so from the crowd, as you can see in the background. Stern looks, concerned looks. As we get back into the action, 5-1 the score now. CSKA starting to show their class as they turn on the pressure. And it does look bleak for Cologne.
What you're starting to see, Paul, is as the play goes deep in the Russian end, the Germans are throwing 2 attackers at the Russian defense. The Russian defense is just smoothly passing the puck up to a wing, and they're breaking out with at least 2-on-2, 3-on-2 it. And the Germans are just too tired to come back.
Groger losing out. Bomatov now. Still the Soviets in control, taking their time, waiting to set it up. They really do pass it around nicely off the boards there. Well, that one didn't come off as planned, but there haven't been many of those. A long shot from number 19. Groger handled nicely by the goalie. You're going to have to pick it up a gear, possibly 2, as Nicholas was down on the left side, slammed into the boards by Malakoff. Right out front, oh, and a good save as Nicholas is dumped to the ice after taking that shot, and they're starting to mix it up as they move in close. Udo Schmidt not impressed with that at all, as Trunchka takes a blow. Well, this is silly.
This is German frustration here, Paul. They're tired. They're doing what they can do, but the Russians are still controlling the play, even though that was a giveaway there. Nicholas came in, couldn't capitalize on that, which was a very good opportunity, and now the Germans are frustrated.
You know, there was nothing wrong with that check in front of the net. Nicholas was taken out of the play, and that was a legal check. But you can see the West German Cologne side with their sticks. They're starting to get up. They're starting to hook from over the shoulder. They're not even being subtle about it.
No, that's right. It's desperation. They're going for the net, but the Russians are taking them out of the play. Their defensemen know what to do. Protect the goalie, keep the puck and the player away from the net.
Trunchka in the face-off, and we see two Soviets in the penalty box. Malakoff in there for what, well, I don't know. Fry, Christian Fry, the Swiss referee, obviously a lot closer than we are, calling the penalties out there, so he knows what's going on. I'd like to think he knows what's going on, but it didn't look that bad to me. Kiesling consulting with him, and that's a good thing about these professional referees. They do talk to the players, they explain what is going on. As we end this section of the third period, we'll be right back after this break. The score back to the third period, CSKA Moscow in a commanding lead, 5-1 over Cologne. And it's going to take a lot for Cologne, who are playing from left to right, to come back into this one.
They're definitely facing an uphill struggle. It's just not looking better by the minute here. It might be time to just grab a cold beverage, bite to eat, and sit back and enjoy the brilliance of this German atmosphere.
Makarov working his way nicely. Makarov still with it, still with it. Oh, that was so pretty, so clever. A brilliant performance, a solo performance by Makarov as he twisted and turned his way through the West German side.
That's right, Paul. This is an individual effort by Makarov. He splits the defense. He's shaken off a forward. He's in on the goalie. It's total solo effort. It's a very nice goal by Makarov.
A smile from Makarov.
That's right, Paul. I think he's about to sit back and enjoy it. And here we go. He's got the move on the goalie. He's in there alone. He knows how to deke a goaltender out. He's done it many times before.
Well, perhaps Hardy Nilsson will go on to bigger and better things, but right now it's all CSKA. They lead 6-1 in this final period. The Cologne trying to get it out front, but too many shirts there. Number 13, Kamensky, getting it right in front as he's jumped to the ice right in the slot area. Back coming forward is 24, Robert Sturflinger. Sturflinger dumping it out. The race is on. 16, Konstantinov getting to it first, and back comes CSKA. A long shot by number 14, Mogilny, who scored that lovely goal earlier on. And play slowing down here just a bit as the Cologne side try to regroup, and they're getting a boo from their crowd as it's passed back to the goaltender, and that really is unusual.
Well, Paul, things have really come to a sudden halt here. The Germans are very flat. They're weary, they're tired. I think the wind has been taken out of their sails, having put up such a brilliant effort and finding themselves down 6-1. They've got to be feeling it now at this point.
Well, they fought hard, and I'm sure they haven't given up, but it's like swimming upstream. It really is against these guys. Fedorov losing out. Now Cologne, can they get on the score sheet once again? Groger taken out in the corner as they pile up the bodies all the way out to the blue line, and back comes CSKA. Two slaps there from number 15, Fumatov. As he muscles in, Groger gets in there too.